Welcome everybody on another episode here at home on Get It Girl. I'm your girl Artie Fix, and today we have a super special guest. She is an activist, actress, model, mom, and a total badass, Patricia Velasquez, who is here to talk about an amazing initiative for Venezuela, the Wayuu Taya Foundation, and many other things. Patricia, bienvenida. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. Wow, I can't believe you actually pronounced it correctly. And you didn't even ask me how to pronounce it. Most people do, so good for you.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I have a Cuban background, so I hope that's what's helping.
Well, thank you. I'm
Well,
super happy to be here.
Thank you. We're really happy that you're here. So let's go in. Tell us, first of all, did I pronounce it right? Wayuu Taya Foundation.
Yes.
Okay.
Wayuu Taya.
Us.
It means Wayuu in the Wayuu
Wayuu.
dialect. And the Wayuu community, I think this is what you were going to ask.
Yes.
So they're an indigenous population where I come from. There are about 500,000 people that are in the border between Venezuela and Colombia. And my mom is from there. So about 19 years ago, I was living in New York. My uncle passed away, and he was kind of like a dad for my mom. And she owed a lot to him. And before he passed, he said to my mom and my cousin, he says, don't forget about the Wayuu. This was a long time ago. So wow. I started doing a little research and found out that during that time, through UNICEF, the Wayuu region was classified as the second poorest in Latin America. One kid between 0 and 6 years old was dying per day. So we came up with this idea because both of my parents are educators to start a foundation with a little preschool. And a lot of great people got involved in New York. So we started with a little preschool for 30 children. Now we have 5 different schools for 3,500 kids. But, you know, for those of you, you might know, you might not know the crisis in Venezuela. We have the biggest refugee crisis in the Western Hemisphere ever. Over 5 million people have left the country. So where the Wayuu region is right in the border and the situation is desperate. So we're trying to do everything we can to help them because there's very little access to food, definitely medical attention, education. So we're now feeding 12,000 people a day. That's 29 schools, 16 different communities, and 8 different institutions, including 3 elderly centers. But because of COVID, the borders are closed. And it has made it a little more challenging for us to bring the food that we are bringing in with, you know, organizations like Jose Andres, World Central Kitchen, I'm sure you know, Acceso, Core Response, 8 Live. We have wonderful direct relief, bringing thousands of medical equipment. The thing is that now we can't provide the food. So we started this program with a Center for Disaster and Philanthropy where we're bringing in kind of like an insurer. So that is keeping the kids alive, literally. They have this little drink once a day and we're distributing it. But because of COVID, it's been very challenging. And we started making these masks, right? We decided to create a store and came up with this little campaign that it says, become a humanitarian. So if you buy any item from the Wayuu Taya store, where there is a mask, a hoodie, and there are all kinds of really cool things there. There's like a neck bandana, and a tube, we call it. Every item you buy, you will be providing a mask to a child in need in the border of Venezuela and Colombia. So we've already sent hundreds, but we need to send thousands. So it's almost like help to save yourself as you're also helping to save somebody else. And this is what we're doing now with Wayuu Taya. So anything, if you need to buy a mask, you should be wearing a mask. You know, this has become a little political, and it shouldn't be political. So wear a mask, protect yourself, protect everyone around you. And by doing so, you would also be helping save a life of a kid.
Also wanted to ask you, because you were invited to meet Bill Clinton and other um, people that are in that field. How did that happen?
Um, well, this is one of the things that happen when you do good. When you
Mm.
try to, I just got a call from Jose Andres, the chef, and he just said, "Hey, will you come to New York and meet?" And that's it. Was really that simple. I was in Mexico and then got on the plane and went to New York. It was really just very simple. Now, one of the things that I've learned from all this is that when you are on the right path,
Mm.
one thing happens after the next and the next and the next, and you don't have to force them. Unfortunately, we're so bombarded by social media, and trust me, I love social media and I love the
Mhm.
internet, and I love being out there. But we are so bombarded by it that it's very hard to build your self-esteem, to know that you can do it. But trust me, when you find that one thing that is that you love to do, just go for it. Don't let anyone tell you no, because the universe is going to make sure that you will take step after step, and you will enjoy that process so much that you're
Yeah.
not looking so much for the result, because the gratification of the process is so great that there is not such a thing as an ending to the process, because one thing will bring the other, and then the other, and then the other, and that's really what we're supposed to do. Don't try to imitate what other people are doing,
Mhm.
unless it's someone who you admire and love what they do.
Mhm.
But just really try to find your own path.
You were talking about challenges with the whole program because of COVID. I'm sure it's been a lot of challenges in general in the beginning by doing this whole program. How was you able to reach out to people to see what's going on, what you really are doing, and make it people believe that it's legit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really wonderful question. Hopefully, I hope, we've been working for 19 years in this area already.
Mm.
So it's amazing. Who knew almost 20 years ago that the reason why we were starting Wayuu Taya was because of now? I mean, who knew? Because we were and we have been helping every year, but really what we have been doing is build a tremendous credibility, and the work speaks for itself. I mean,
Mm.
we have been honored by every single organization, from UNESCO to the Organization of the American States to the UN. And we make sure that the work is very public. So when you go to Wayuu Taya on Instagram or Facebook or any of our social media, every single day you see images of either that same day or the day before. This is what I was saying. It's something that can happen to you. You do
Yeah.
the work and it just goes organically. And now most people know what we do. Wayutaya has become well known. And in the meantime, look, for us, what's important is to get the help. There
Yeah.
are kids are wearing their masks there. Why? And you know this because you're from Cuba, but Cuba, in that respect, I do have to say, is way better. There is very little access to medical attention. So
Mm.
people don't want to get COVID, because if you do, you will not be cared for. So you see the children, the moms, everybody are wearing masks, but they don't have any masks. They just wear a piece of cloth or whatever it is they can put in their face. So the idea of us bringing thousands of masks is just so wonderful, because you're helping yourself at the same time that you're helping somebody else. So I just love having this opportunity. And one of the things, and I've been asked this question quite a bit, what other things have you come up with during this time of COVID? Or it's amazing, because being at home so much, it makes you have to reinvent yourself in a way. But it's not like you are going, how am I going to reinvent myself now? What am I? No, it doesn't happen that way. Really,
Yeah.
it's just because you go, oh, what if, oh, I would like, let me try that. Let me try. I have the,
Yeah.
let's just do it. And that respect, I decided to create a store also, because we opened a store for Wayuu Taya.
Mm.
And because some of the jobs that have been canceled are all these Comic Cons and movies. As you know, actors, we're like totally out of work right now. But there are other things you can do, right? So I thought, what if I just everyone wants to sign pictures of the mummy, and also to just Arrested Development and works that we have done. So I thought, why don't I just make some merchandise and sell it? And the same thing, if somebody buys anything from my store, not the Wayuu Taya, that also as well, but my store, then I will also be donating a mask for a kid, though I always send way more than just one. But one of the things that we're saying in some of the merchandise is, my body is not your temple, meaning COVID, not your temple, and meaning you let me do whatever I want to do with my body, my life, my independence. So it's also a statement. So these are just little ideas that come that are possible. So whatever ideas you have, just go for them. It's not that complicated. Things are changing, they're shifting. You know, we're expected to do a lot more than we were before. Like, even for us as actors now, we have to have studios at home. We have to recreate voiceover studios in the closets. We have to be tech kids. We now have to take care of our web. Like, before, this was not the case. But how great to be able to have this knowledge, and to be, of course, it takes a long time, but how great not to have to depend on so many people to be able to do things that you create yourself. It's a great time for creativity, and it's a great time to do things.
You mentioned about the Mummy and the Curse of La Llorona. How was it to work in The Mummy, for example, such a big hit of a movie, now that we're tapping into your acting?
Sure. I mean, the Mummy and The Mummy Returns were just one of those projects that you work that you have no. First of all, when we shot The Mummy, I don't think any of us knew that they were going to be such a big hit. That's the first thing. For me, I didn't even know it was such a big film. When I just got this job. So I went to London, and then it turns out to be this huge movie, but I had no idea. And then the success came, and then they called me for The Mummy Returns, and they gave me a very, big part. When I did The Mummy Returns, of course, we then hoped that it was going to be as big, which it was, even bigger. But the process was beautiful because it was the same crew. It was a reunion, and it was shot in Marrakesh, and it was also shot in the UK, and second unit shot in Jordan. So it really, I loved this. That's one of the most extraordinary experiences I've had in my life. Really, being in London for that long, beautiful place. Just I became very close to Rachel from Rachel Weisz. Just developed really nice friendships with different people that up until today we remain close. So the idea of being a part of such a legendary film, that even to today, I mean, when I just started doing these Comic-Cons, and the lines of people that just come and dress themselves and tattooed themselves just to look like Aung San Suu Kyi, it's amazing. So it really tells you, when you believe in something, go for it, and just be very grateful. Now, the last year we had The Curse of La Llorona, which was the number one in the world and box office, and that was another example of a movie that is a part of a legend. I'm sure you all know La Llorona. Every country in Latin America and all over the world really has their own version of La Llorona, but we Latins Hispanics, we claim it as ours. But we had no idea this movie was going to be so big, nor the studio thought it was going to be this big. And just when they started testing it, that's when they realized, and then Warner Brothers got behind it, and it became number one. But we didn't know. Again, it came just like a little project. It wasn't even called The Curse of La Llorona. It was called something. It was called The Children. So I enjoyed that process so much, working with Linda. I mean, this is the thing when you know that you're working with phenomenal actors, and I'm so fortunate that to have worked with some of them. When you work with someone great, they give you more than when they are even on camera. So basically, just so, like, if you don't know, you know, but I'm saying if you're
Yeah,
watching,
in general.
if you don't know, like when you shoot a scene, basically you have two people, then there is like a master shot where you see everything, then there are medium shots where you see medium part of the body, and then you see the close-ups, and then they're usually, you know, one camera towards one person, and then so when they're shooting the other close-up to the other person, you are kind of like the camera's here, you're behind it, and sometimes the person might not even see you. So you, if you're doing a really strong scene, you don't even have to act that strong, right? Like,
Yeah.
but you do when when you're working with an amazing actor, like in this case with Linda, for example, Linda Cardellini, who's extraordinary. She gives you so much, and then you give her more, and then what that does is that when you give, it gives, and it elevates. And think about that in life. When you don't give as much, you don't receive as much, therefore, but when you're giving, the other person gives you more, and then you're elevated to such a level that the result is there, and it's on the screen, and people love it. And I think that has a lot to do with the success of the film.
I really want to do this game with you.
Oh, a game. Okay.
Yes. It's a 3-question game.
Okay.
It's called the quarantine trivia. Trivia. Yeah.
Quentin trivia. Okay.
Yeah. That's the name of it. So it goes like this, that I'm going to ask you one question and have 3 options, and you will have to answer one of those options. It's from A to, oh, this has 4 actually. Okay, so let's do A to C. Let's do 3. So I'm just going to ask you about the quarantine. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go.
No idea what she's going to ask, but that.
And you got to be honest.
Oh, definitely I will.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. So first question, how many family fights have you had during this quarantine? 1. The usual amount. 2. Definitely more than the usual.
Yes.
3.
3.
3. Less than the usual.
No,
in the middle.
No, 3. More than usual.
More than usual?
Yes, for sure.
Oh my God. You have teenagers
My
in
daughter.
your house? Got
My
it.
daughter. Yeah.
Got it.
But the fights are with everybody.
Yeah, I get it.
Her. Poor thing. Not just, let's not blame her for being a teenager.
No.
But the fights are with everybody.
No, and also what you're doing, the job that you're dedicating to be an activist and have these programs and fighting with all these people that are also around it and people that are not around it. And
well, fights are healthy. Fights are healthy.
It makes you grow.
Yeah, as long as you can get resolution, or as long as you're able to express yourself.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I mean, we're Latins. It wouldn't
firing.
Firing. Yeah, firing. As long as there is some resolution. Then
that's funny. Okay, let's go to the 2 because I have so little time. I wish I could talk so much more with you. Okay, so the second question is, what have the fights been for? 1, the remote control. 2, who will take out the trash? 3, who is disinfecting all the groceries?
Oh, 3. Yes.
Really?
Yes. I'm usually the one ends up doing it. But
of course. There you are, like
good. Like can you just do it? Can you do it yourself? Why do I have to do everything myself? I mean, really. This is not fair. And then you send me to the store again. I'm supposed to go to the store. I'm supposed to clean the freaking things, and I'm supposed to do everything in this house. I'm sick of it. Sick of this COVID.
Oh, hey, I hear you. Okay, last question. What has been your guilty pleasure? 1.
Wow. Okay, I know.
Watching bad TV. 2. Becoming a Zoom addict. 3. Being in your pajamas for more than a week.
Oh, kind of the 3 of them. And I would add having ice cream at night.
Hey, I can tell that. Me too. Ice cream.
Sometimes I would also add had having a little too much wine, which I stopped finally because it was kind of taking over. But all of them.
All of them. There you go.
All of them.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this.
But there are also some good things, huh? Like I'm working out every day.
There you go.
I make sure I go out with my mom for a walk every day. Even that, so you know, there's some good things too. There's some good addictions too.
Well, thank you. Time is done, so we have to wrap it up. But thank you so much, Patricia, for coming for this show, talking about the program. And also, we wanted to remind people that how they can contribute is to check the website.
Yes,
right.
Go to Wayuu Taya, WAYUUTAYA.org, or you can just Google my name and it will take you to the foundation as well. And once you're there, you can go to the store. And again, if you buy any item, you will be providing a mask to a child in need. And it's not like here. There is no access. There's very little access to medical attention. Even food is scarce right now. So help us, help them, and you will most likely be saving a life aside from yours.
Yes, yes. Wow. Well, thank you. We hope that we can have you in the studio very soon.
Yes.
So we can meet you. I can finally meet you in person and talk more, and also talk about the progress and process, what's been going from today there. Well, and thank you so much.
I really enjoyed chatting.
Thank you. For you guys, come on, follow us on Instagram. It's Get It Girl TV or LATV Network. So check us out there. Check also latvnetwork.com and you can see all the updates. Be safe, wear a mask, and I'll see you very soon, guys. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.